have been recorded and there will be further follow-ups. Meanwhile, more breaking news updates coming in from Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala, where the F-35B of the Royal Navy is being taxied on the runway. Those are the first and exclusive visuals on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. That's the F-35B variant or fighter jet of the Royal Navy that had landed in Thiruvananthapuram almost over a month now, and it has been stationed there because of some hydraulic issues that was initially alleged. There was a massive team of about 18 British technicians that landed in Thiruvananthapuram almost 2 weeks ago now. And finally, the aircraft is being taxied on the runway, coming out of the hangar for the first time since the British engineers took up to the task to ensure to maintain its flightability and maybe get it off the ground. Now, reports suggest that it may be repatriated back to its home aircraft carrier, HMS Prince of Wales, later this week. However, these are the first visuals of the F-35B finally being brought out from that hangar after all attempts to make repairs. The most interesting fact here, the wings are intact, meaning that it is likely that the plane could in fact fly back. And the initial assessment that a C-130 Hercules of the Royal Navy could be flown down to get it packed up and shipped off back is not likely a possibility. Now, will the F-35B fly back is a potential possibility that we are looking at after British engineers have worked on it. I have my colleague Ashwin joining us live from the broadcast, who's been closely tracking this story from Thiruvananthapuram Airport. Ashwin, what's the latest in terms of the repatriation now of this F-35B of the Royal Navy?
In fact, we are getting you these exclusive visuals. What we are seeing on our screen is the F-35 is now being towed towards the Bay 4. In fact, this jet landed on June 14th, and since then it has been on Bay 4 for a pretty long time until July 6th, when a team of 31 engineers landed in Thiruvananthapuram. That is almost like almost a hiatus of almost 1 month and 1 week, you could say, and then less than 1 month. And after July 6, when the team of 31 engineers, including members of the engineers of the Lockheed Martin, the maker of this fifth generation fighter jet, there has been many questions raised. In fact, today is July 21st. It's almost 3 weeks since this jet was taken into the Air India hangar for repair. This advanced jet repair took 3 weeks inside the hangar, and this comes at a time when, for the longest time, the British officials denied denied the offer given by the Indian authorities that they could move it to the hangar ever since it made an emergency landing on June 15th. Now, when we look at the entire saga of the story, it is very fascinating. From June 14th to this day, July 21st, this jet had a holiday in the coastal city of Thiruvananthapuram, the southernmost capital city of the country. And what you see on the screen is this particular jet being is right now being towed to the same Bay 4 where it had come on June 14th. And you can also see the A400. In fact, this A400, which landed on July 6th, after the landing, bringing down these equipments and these engineers, after which this particular jet had moved away. But today, this jet has come back. So essentially, what we can connect, when we put these dots together, we can know that these engineers who came to repair this particular F-35 flight has now planned to go back. In fact, this particular jet nose was in fact facing our camera just a few minutes ago. It had turned. So it is likely that even the A400, which landed last night, will also take off today itself. So in a few hours from now, we'll know the details. But these visuals that we are bringing right now is a confirmation that the F-35's holiday in Kerala is likely to be over in a few hours from now. Certainly, it's a kind of an embarrassment for a country like UK, where it which boasts of a fifth generation fighter aircraft which can have a vertical takeoff, which doesn't need even a runway to take off. Such a flight was stuck for almost 1.5 months over here. The repair took a pretty long time. Despite all that, the Indian authorities, within its superior show of camaraderie and diplomacy, gave all the support to this jet and its authorities to ensure that the entire repair of this particular jet is done smoothly. In fact, the Thiruvananthapuram Airport authorities had also given, the Adani Group had given all the support that was required and asked by the British authorities as well. So certainly, I think what we see on our screen is probably the last few hours of this particular jet, which is going to be finally taking off from this airport. And these are the exclusive visuals. Back to the studio.
Thank you very much, Ashwin, for tracking those details. Ladies and gentlemen, the F-35B Lightning of the Royal Navy that landed on June 14th in Thiruvananthapuram following engineering issues and fuel shortages is now once again been brought out to the tarmac after 3 weeks spent under the hangar with an overhaul done by British engineers, a dozen of them who were also staying in Kerala for the last 3 weeks in desperate attempts to get this $100 million stealth fifth generation fighter jet back into the skies. Is it the day of repatriation for this F-35B Lightning, which was part of the fleet of the HMS Prince of Wales, the aircraft carrier of the Royal Navy? It is something that remains to be seen today. It is most likely that today or tomorrow, it is most likely to fly back. As you can see in the visuals on your screen, it is being taxied now to bay number 4 at the Thiruvananthapuram Airport, pending permissions and requisite proceedings that need to be taken care of. Subsequently, it is expected that this jet is most likely to fly back. Initially, it was being assessed that if repairing would not succeed, then it would be transported in a larger transport military aircraft like the C-130 Hercules of the Royal Navy, perhaps, but it has not come to it, and the engineers seem to be confident with the wings intact there that this plane will perhaps fly back. We just saw 3 weeks ago a group of British engineers had landed up Thiruvananthapuram in a desperate attempt to get this aircraft back into the skies. They stayed there for about 3 weeks. This aircraft spent 3 weeks in an Air India hangar under heavy watch and strict vigilance, and there was some repairing work done. The payload and the weapons systems on this aircraft were already detached and sent back to the Royal Navy authorities almost 3 weeks back.
Republic TV has been relentlessly pursuing the story of the F-35, which was grounded in the Thiruvananthapuram International Airport on June 14th. Today it's been more than 1.5 months, and we are bringing you these exclusive visuals of the flight finally likely to take off from the Thiruvananthapuram Civilian Airport after a holiday of almost 1.5 months enjoying the weather in Thiruvananthapuram. In fact, this mighty jet, the fifth generation fighter jet, after